Hi, I'm in Bible Story Volume 4. My book has David and Goliath on it. And we are at Part 3, Story 6, Huram, the Brass Caster. The other one was Hiram, and this is Huram. Okay. One of the special requests that Solomon made of the king Huram, see, Hiram, of Tyre, was for a man skilled in handling metals. Send me, send me now, therefore, a man cunning to work in gold, in silver, and in brass, and in iron. And he wrote to his friend. He wrote to his friend. What needed was another Bezal, Bezal, Bezali, who did such wonderful work in the building of the wilderness tabernacle and its furniture. And King Huram found such a man. His name was Huram, a citizen of Tyre, whose mother belonged to the tribe of Dan. Sure, strangely, he was distantly related through his mother to Aholiab, Haoliab, who had been Benzali's right-hand helper nearly 500 years before. Oh, he found the right man. Okay. This young man was like Benzali and Ahorab, Aholiab, with filling with and wait was filled with wisdom and understanding, and skillful work in gold and in silver and in brass and iron and in stone and in timber, in purple and blue and all fine linen, and in crimson, also to grave any manner of graving. So he was a really well-rounded artist. A wonder boy indeed, and a troubleshooter too. For King Hiram said he Hiram said of him that he could find out every device which shall be put on him. So he can figure out anything. The king's description was not overdrawn, not when you know what young Huram did. When he arrived in Jerusalem and looked over the plans of the temple, he saw that his biggest job was to cast two great pillars of brass or bronze and that were to stand in front of it. The pillars were to be 33 feet high, 18 cubits, it has it in parentheses, and over 7 feet thick. That's bigger than a door. At least a foot bigger than a door. If you stand it up. Where could such a massive pillar be cast? Where could enough clay be found to make the molds for them? Oh, they were doing with the mold. Yeah, that's how you do it. It was a problem that would have stumped most people, but not Huram. He looked around until he found the clay, away, away down in the Jordan Valley between Succoth and Zarthan. And Succoth is Succoth, Succoth, and Zaran is Zarthan. Then he must have asked himself, shall I make the metal the clay, or bring the clay to the metal? Either way meant an immense amount of work. So he decided to cast the pillars in the valley. So he set up his furnaces down there, melt the metal, and then poured it into the molds that he had fashioned in the clay ground. Finally, when it was done, he produced two magnificent pillars of gleaming bronze. Uh, very, very shiny. Like my giraffes here. But now he had to get them up the mountain to Jerusalem. How could he do that? Nobody knows for sure. The pillars were long and very heavy, and the mountain trail steep and winding, with many a hairpin bends. But it was no stopping Huram. Somehow or other, he got these two pillars up to, and then it stops, and this says Herbert Rudine, and it's a picture of one of the pillars, an artist's rendition of the pillars. And that's what it looks like, artist's rendition. And then somehow or another, he got those two pillars up to Jerusalem and put them in the place before the temple, known as Jachin, meaning he was established, and Boaz, meaning in all strength. They stood for hundreds of years. Ah, Jachin or Jachin, he shall establish, and Boaz. It says Boaz, Boaz, meaning it is strength. And that's the name of the pillars. They stood for hundreds of years to the glory of God and as a reminder of what a man can do when he puts his mind to his work. When Huram, with a U, Huram's laborers were still working on the pillars and dragged them inch by inch up the mountainside, he was busy making many other things, some of them almost as big and important as the two great pillars. For instance, he made a great bronze bowl or molten sea, 8 feet in diameter and over 9 feet deep. That's a big sea. 18 feet across, that's full circle, and 9 feet deep. That's bigger than a pool. Okay, this stood up 12. This stood upon 12 bronze oxen, 3 looking towards the north, 3 looking towards the west, and 3 looking towards the south, and 3 looking towards the east. Oh yeah, it was up on, and a ox is a big animal. If any of y'all have ever seen a cow, an ox is just a little bit bigger than a cow, but they're pretty close to it. A cow's pretty close to an ox. Alright, back to the story. This was no easy task, for the huge bowl was made of metal and hand thick a hand thick, wait, a hand breadth thick, and the brim thereof was wrought like a brim of a cup, with flowers and lilies. It contained 2,000 baths. It's a lot of water. It would be probably 3 swimming pools. In today's he's going to explain. In today's measurements, that would be almost 12,000 gallons, which is definitely about 3 swimming pools. Some of the other things Huram made are listed in the record: 400 pomegranates and 10 basins and 10 layers on the basins. 400 pomegranates. Pomegranates are big fruit. And 10 bases and 10 layers on the bases, and then it's condensing it. The pots and the shovels and the basin. All of bright brass that is burnished bronze. This man helped in many other ways in building of the temple. And when we speak of that beautiful house of God as Solomon's temple, we should not forget all the labor of love which Huram and thousands of other people put into it. And then it's got a picture or an artist illustration of what it might look like for this, for the basin or for the tub. Yeah, it would be about a swimming pool, about the size of a swimming pool. Yeah, and then just about as deep as a swimming pool, but completely not with the gradual like the swimming pool has. Okay, so that was part 3, story 6. I'm going to take the break, and then we'll go to the next story. See you in a minute.